so this has been kind of, I thought it was new to forest gardening when I started to read those American and English books, and then the more I learned, the more I realized that I have a lifelong relationship to this kind of agriculture practice, which I then try to implement in this place. This is Putmira Forest Garden, which is the main site we work on. We have several other sites which I don't have time to talk about too much today. And here in this site, it's 1.5 hectares open land. We've planted trees on a bit more than a hectare now for the last 8 years. We have lots of ponds, 7 ponds or 6 ponds or something like that. A big greenhouse where we grow annual crops, and all of this is forest garden. It's a southwest facing slope, just to give you kind of a general idea of how it's what it looks like, the topography. And this is south this way, and on the north side we have spruce forest. So we're protected from winds from the north. We're protected from most winds actually, except from the west. It's a bit open there, but that wind isn't very harmful. It's even when it's storm, it's not too windy on the side, so it's quite sheltered, which also means we have a very high average temperature during the summer in this place. It's quite hot actually. The air kind of stays and accumulates, warm air accumulates here. So even though we're in climate zone 5 according to the Swedish system, which would be zone 4 according to the Finnish system, we can grow apricots and peaches on free land, and have lots of walnuts and stuff, which we planted. We haven't harvested any walnuts yet, but they flowered last year for the first time, some of them. And here, this shrub forest has been one of the major kind of blueprints for us when we plant the different sections of this garden. And that's kind of what it looks like after 6 years, I think this must have been. It's hazelnuts. Oh, I forgot to translate this slide. It's funny. Sorry about this. Yeah, I think you'll understand anyway. Anyways, it's hazelnuts, and they're kind of be the shrub layer in this shrub forest. And then we planted hybrid chestnuts in between, just in this part. In other parts we planted pear trees, which are going to be the big ones. In some parts we planted apple trees. They haven't been doing too well because of a lot of pest problems that we have, rodents and stuff, and also elderberries, which is a nice pioneering sun-loving species that does really well. And if we get some rain this spring, we'll plant out some grapes here that can plant on the hazelnuts. Yes, please.
The elderberries are the black ones or the red ones?
It's the black ones.
The black ones.
Yes. Black elderberries. Yeah. And so this is kind of what it can look like after 6 years. But the target is to have like 1 or 2 big trees or 3 big trees that kind of are in a cluster. Then we have different shrubs in between, so we get this kind of dome shape of every section. Then we have some pathways going through, and then we have the next shrub forest, the next polyculture, which has the same shape. So we get a lot of edge, nice big crowns, and a lot of production. So it's not going to be a forest here. It's going to be more like the image I showed from Central Asia and southern Germany. That's what we hope that it's going to look like eventually. Yes?
In this photo, how wide is the space? How many meters?
It's 6 meters between the hazelnuts, and they're about 3.5 meters tall right now. And if we get rain, it's really dry in Sweden right now, then they're going to grow a meter probably, another meter now. And they have cropped now. All of these have cropped last year. Most of the nuts dried away, but now this year we had some really nice flowering, and all the hazelnut shrubs we have flowered basically. All the ones a bit older. I think we have about 50 hazelnut plants in total. And this hybrid chestnut, I just wanted to talk a bit about it as well. It's not one of the fruits you would associate with central Sweden. I don't know, is anyone growing chestnuts? You're trying to? Is there any chestnut trees in Finland?
Well, not really.
Not really?
Few.
On Åland, maybe?
Yeah, in Helsinki, botanical garden.
Have they fruited here?
Yeah,
they have. Okay, yeah, good, yeah. They should try. Small ones, yeah. They don't get very big, yeah. this hybrid chestnut, it's this European chestnut, which comes from the Alps and then Central Asia and so on. It's probably not hardy where we grow plants. We have one tree that's 6 years old and it kind of grows up a bit, dies back it's like 2 steps ahead and 1.8 steps backwards with that one. It's alive, but it's probably never going to fruit. On the other hand, these hybrid chestnuts, which are a cross between American chestnut and Chinese chestnut, they're being grown in North America all the way up to Quebec. And they have winter temperatures of minus 30, 35 degrees, quite warm summers though. It's a different latitude too, but we just tried a couple of these trees, which were a bit hard to find, which we planted in 2014, I think. And they've been attacked by voles, they've been attacked by rabbits, they've been attacked by roe deer, but they've never frozen back just 1 millimeter. It's been eaten back, but it's not frozen back, and it's been growing really well until somebody comes and eats up the new growth. So we're quite confident that the tree as such is hardy. Whether it's going to flower and even set fruit, we have no idea. But one of my friends who's growing even further north in the Swedish zone 6, he has an American chestnut which flowered last summer for the first time. It was just 4 years old. It's quite tall, quite a big tree. And it hasn't sustained any frost damage, and he also has minus 30 every winter at his place. It's kind of in a valley bottom. Quite interesting. So we've planted lots of those.
Philipp,